basically we go to like this place in Nottingham where after let's say we've been there twice and we've been there twice like after shows and it's like a fucking goth pub. Yeah, they just play like proper like ass metal and stuff and but drinks are like it's like they've got deals on shots and stuff like that and so I said on my way home I don't think I've been this hungover since the last time we went to Nottingham, but it's just because like it's the only time we can afford to sort of be like crazy with drinks because it's like cheap as fuck. But
and I was about 8 beers in before we even got there.
So, it was good. The show was good as well.
Yeah, the show was good.
But the sound was better.
Yeah, it just did me in. Don't remember leaving.
Nah.
We're always there until they kick us out as well, so it's fucking it's fun.
It's good shit.
Yeah, it's good. Those are always like the best moments when you're like, no, the show was good, but like everything that happened afterwards is why like I feel the way I do right now. It's not because of the show, it's because of everything else that happened.
Yeah, exactly. We fully just borrowed all of like the happiness from today and just blew our load whilst early.
My only question for the two of you before we start is, do you have a beverage that you would like to drink on this episode that is unopened?
So I think to coincide with our
aforementioned hangover.
Yeah, the hangover. We've both got our water bottles, but they've got noise. So I think this is gonna be the best.
They're fairly percussive.
Okay. Perfect. Well, you know what we'll do here is I'll crack my beer if you want to simulate cracking your waters for that, and then I'll do the little intro, bring the two of you in, and we'll just have a good time.
Oh, wicked. Cool.
Sounds.
Hell yeah. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, I'm very stoked because, I get to, virtually, of course, I wish I had the money to do it, but I get to travel across the pond to hang out with Regal Cheer. How are you guys doing?
Decent, mate. Thank you very much for having us on.
Dude, of course. For people that aren't aware, like I said, you guys are Regal Cheer. You guys are from Brighton in the UK. You guys are like an indie punk duo, and you guys fucking rip. By the way, like it's insane how full and everything you guys sound with only being the two of you. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, dude, of course. Like we have a lot to talk about. You guys have been pretty busy in the last few years, and you have some big stuff coming up. Has already happened, so I want to make sure we kind of cover everything. I think the first EP and the B-side EP both came out in 2021. Those ones were called Side Hustle and Overtime, and then obviously you have your debut LP that called Cans, which came out February of 2023. So we're almost to that 1 year mark, which all that stuff is great and amazing for everyone listening. Please go check it out. But I mean, the reason you guys are here is you have a new EP coming out. The time of this recording, it's not out yet. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be out for a little bit. Called Big Man, Little Man Strike Partnership, which is such a good name. And I feel like obviously it's very fitting if people have seen photos. Obviously, one of you is Big Man, one of you is Short Man or Little Man. Sorry. But I love the name because obviously, you two struck up a partnership at some point in your life. So I kind of want to do full circle here. Kind of start at the beginning. How did this partnership start? And how have you gotten to where you are now, about to release this EP? Basically, what would be like the title of your book, in terms of that. Take me back to the beginning and to here. And also, before we have you go down this road, I also have not introduced them individually. Can you say who you are and what you do in Regal Cheer before I forget?
Yeah, sounds. I'm Harry. I play the drums and sing as well.
I'm Max, and I play the guitar and also sing.
Hell yeah. But yeah, now just crack open that Charles Dickens book and tell me this lovely story of Big Man, Little Man.
So basically, we met in Brighton about sort of 10 years ago or so.
10, 11, something like that.
Yeah, we both like Harry's from just outside a village, like relatively close to Brighton. I'm from the island of Jersey, old Jersey, the OG. And yeah, we met because Harry lived with a couple of people from Jersey. Right? Yeah. And then just been friends for like 10 years, and then we were both in bands that sort of stopped basically. And then yeah. You were just like, do you want to start doing something?
Yeah,
basically, it's nothing crazy. And then that was
we just like started sort of hanging out, and then we bonded over our love of Dogs on Acid. That album's amazing, and the show I Think You Should Leave. I think Max was the only person I knew who watched it when it first came out, and I stumbled across it. Was like, this is the best thing ever, and found out that Max liked it. So it's like, let's just fucking hang out and watch it.
Yeah.
And it was like, maybe we should just fucking start rocking out. So yeah, then we just went to a practice room and just to see what would happen, and wrote a shit of the songs really quick.
Yeah, and then like COVID happened, obviously. If anyone wasn't aware, that took a big chunk of everyone's time. But then as a result, the studio was just dead cheap to record.
Yeah.
We got a mate to do it, and because there's only two of us, I don't know what the rules were like over in your neck of the woods, but here it was like you could only have a certain amount of people sort of in a room. So we could do it safely because obviously there's like none of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, just managed to get a pretty good deal on that.
Yeah, wrote most of the early stuff sort of over like voice notes and shit like that, on just getting ideas down and sort of starting like an archive of bits and bobs, and then when we could actually get into a room together when COVID allowed, then it was like, right, just start at the top and work our way down and see what sticks, you know. Yeah, and then we sort of recorded, what was it, like 7 songs at that point?
Yeah, so 7.5. One of them was just got absolutely canned.
Yeah, we got recycled into something else on cans.
Like, yeah, the sort of outro to the album was like, yeah, that was originally a kind of crap song, but now it's okay, so it's cool.
Yeah, thank God I played it wrong. We recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit of a happy accident there. But then that was recorded by our friend Seb, who plays in a band called Public Body, who are really cool. They sound like Devo.
And Jordan helped as well, our mate. He's in a band called Really Big, Really Clever.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're our boys. And then what happens? What do we do next?
And then we wrote a record pretty swiftly after those EPs were done.
It's a piece of cake being in a 2-piece. We live together as well. So it's just like it's so sound. You save so much money on like practicing, because it'll be like I'll be playing a riff and Harry will be like, that's good, or that's shit, and then like you know, or be there like, oh, I've got something that I can play over that, like that sort of thing. So we just save time and money, just basically hashing a lot of stuff out before we go in there, and then we go into the space. It's just like, I don't know, songs come out well easy, and also the songs are like 30 seconds long, so it's like it's kind of I don't know if it's lazy or if it's brilliant, but either way the songs are not that short. So.
Yeah, just say it's efficient.
Yeah.
It's also in the vein of like punk music, where like you don't have to write 3-minute long songs to get your point across.
Who's got time for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like I certainly don't have the attention span. We played with a band called American band called Church Girls. We played with them at the Prince Albert venue in Brighton like a few years ago, and like when we were listening to when we got like the gig offer, we listened to them, we were there like, oh, this is good, but like this song's going on for fucking ages, and it was 1 minute 30 into a 3-minute song, and it's like we fucked our brains so hard, man.
Yeah, we only got mental capacity to something that's as long as a song that we write.
Yeah.
Now when you two
like we get a new song. Sorry, anytime we get a new song, like we listen to it back, it's like it's 2 minutes long. What the fuck are we doing? Like,
yeah,
it feels like it's actually odyssey. Like,
yeah,
it's so stupid. Just no attention span at all.
Yeah, I think I had a conversation with someone, and they were talking about how they had a song that was like at 2 or 2:30, and like it was like the longest song that they've ever written, and they were just like, I don't know how we made this happen, because all of our songs are so short, but The only downfall is when you get asked to play like more of like the headliner spots, and they're like, hey, you have to play for 45 minutes. It's like my entire discography is 20 minutes tops. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Exactly.
Well, like the whole album, the whole of Cans is like 17.5 minutes, I think.
It's 10 songs.
In 10 songs. I think we played like maybe 14 or 15 songs in like a 20-minute set.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
amazing.
Rattle them off, but like, yeah, when we play them live, it's like, because they are so short, having time in between all the songs to just like faff about or whatever, it would just like make it feel like we weren't really doing anything. So we just try and stack all the tunes together and find the ones that flow into one another, and then it's like, here's a block of like 6 songs all in one go before we have like a rest, stuff like that. So
with like writing short songs as well, like did you ever play this? Me and Seb used to play, we called it, well, it was called the Touche Amore drinking game. We put on Partner Seats, Brightness and me, and try and have like a bottle of Budweiser like per song before we went out. So if someone wants to do that with Cans, that would be lovely and full circle, to be honest.
Maybe we'll have to do that for the anniversary.
For the Caniversary.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a game.
Yeah.
I can immediately see, as soon as you said it, I was like, that is dangerous and difficult to do.
Yeah, if you can't tell, we're a bit of we have a good binge drinking culture in the UK.
So I mean, obviously, you know, it's Regal Cheer is just the two of you. When you first decided to like get together and start jamming, was there any thought of like, should we bring in other people? Should we make this more of like a 3 to 4 person lineup?
Well,
any thought?
When we kind of like semi-floated the idea of our friend Petros, like we spoke to him about because he was after starting the band as well, but he had to like move out of Brighton. So then after that it was like, oh no,
yeah,
we just had like because like I don't know, because we hadn't been I hadn't been in a band in a while, so it was like I had like 3 years of, even though I wasn't consciously writing for anything, I had like 3 years or so worth of songs like built up, so it was just well easy to like get them out. Harry had like a fucking ton of ideas as well. So in the first sort of like 3 or 4 practices, we made like, don't know, probably about like 5 or 6 songs, and maybe like 3 of them we actually stuck with.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh, if we wanted somebody else in, it would require like bringing them in and like seeing what they can come up with over it, and it was just like another layer of faff where it was just like, well, we can do this ourselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also like we've got some friends in a band called Cassell's, and they're just a 2-piece, and they sound fucking massive.
Yeah.
And so we kind of thought, you spoke to Jim.
Yeah, I was like, how'd you do that, man? It was like, how do you make it sound like, how do you trick people into thinking there's a bass guitar there? And he just I basically just nicked his setup. But yeah, it sounds quite a lot of the time people are just like, oh, it's normally just like old pissed boys at pubs who are just there like, oh, you get so much sound out of a 2-piece, and I was like, but I swear, like everyone, even in like 3 pieces, and sometimes I've had it been in 4-piece where someone's there like, you make a lot of noise for like just the 4 of you, and I'm like, fucking what sort of like band are you expecting to see, mate? Like this is such a standard thing.
Yeah, it's a punk show.
Yeah.
But also like the number of like mates we speak to are in bands, and they're all just like, oh, it's so fucking annoying trying to organize 5 people, or like having to get a massive vehicle to get everyone to go on tour. And it's like, we just jump in a normal sized car and we can fit a whole fucking band in there, and it's like, well, this is easy.
Yeah,
you know, we live together, we fucking we need 2 seats in a car.
There's no group chat.
Yeah, there's no group chat. It's just a conversation on WhatsApp. It's just a fucking piece of piss, and it's like, don't really want to complicate that at all.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's amazing that you know, live together and make it so easy. But it's like, we could bring someone in, but at the same time, are they going to just throw off the vibe enough where it's just like, it's more work than it needs to be? And I mean, like you said, Max, like you guys sound, and I said this before we started recording too, it was like, you guys sound so full as just a 2-piece, and like it's like, I remember, I think you had messaged me, I went and listened to some stuff, and I saw the picture on like Spotify and everything, and I was like, there's only 2 people in this band. Like, it doesn't sound like there's just 2. And shit's killer. Like, stick to what you guys are doing. Obviously, don't bring anyone in. Like, you guys are Regal Cheer.
Oh, thank you very much.
Like, you guys kill it.
Stuff.
It's an exclusive club, mate. It's gruesome.
Yeah.
I think you guys should start going around and just being like, he's Regal and I'm Cheer, and I'm just.
Mate, we all get little rings made or something.
Ooh,
little lockets
yeah.
that lock together.
Like one half is like it's like one half of like the rock hand and the other is like the one with the pinky together.
Yeah.
It's like...
I think we're onto something. But obviously, you know, that was the beginning of the partnership. You know, like we said, you've released 2 EPs and a full length so far. But now it's leading up to your 3rd EP, Big Man, Little Man Strike Partnership, which came out February 9th, almost a year to the day of Cans, which is, I really love when that happens.
Yeah, that wasn't really on purpose. It just happened.
Nah, it just fell out that way. Yeah.
There was someone else I had on around this time last year, and they act almost like they did the same thing where like they were just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna drop it like at this time of the year. And I was like, we were doing the same thing and we were recording, and I was like, yeah, it's almost like a year to the date. And they're like, yeah, we didn't plan that at all. It just was like it just worked. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, I think because we're going on a tour in February as well of the UK, and I think that's probably about the exact same time as we toured last year in February. It was like
it's the same week.
Yeah. So it's just like
we're creatures of habit.
Yeah, proper deja vu.
But yeah, so the EP comes out. You know, for people that might not have checked it out yet, it's a nice 4-song ripper. I think the first track came out in December, so that one everyone should have listened to it millions of times already. And there is a music video for that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's such a great EP, like, and it was one too that like obviously in like we've kind of talked about with the punkness, fast songs, where I think the entire EP is probably maybe 10 minutes, if that, and and you know, it's a quick one where I have no problem hitting play again just to go through and listen to it. Like it's so good.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah, to be honest, I feel like that's like after the fact when after we like started just writing like dead short songs, it sort of came to mind that it could just be like this marketing strategy where people will just keep on listening to it. But I'd like to say that was deliberate.
Yeah. Well, it's like I guess it kind of stemmed a bit from like the sort of, there's a few shared bands that we're both really into, and like we use them as like pretty main references, and like Joyce Manor is a big one. And I used to work in a shop and I work in the stock room, and I just had the first Joyce Manor on a loop, because that's about 18 minutes long or something. And so I just listened to that all day. And then you're like, oh, I've actually listened to this album like fucking 40 times. But it doesn't feel that way, because it's just, I don't know, I just like rattle through it. And it's like, well, that's the kind of vibe that I like a lot. So to try and emulate that in our stuff, it's like, I don't know, it just made sense.
Yeah.
Well, like even with Cans, you know, usually sometimes when you listen to like technically a full length from someone, usually by like song 5, maybe 6, you're kind of just like, okay, like I feel like I've gotten the point of this LP, like maybe what's next, or like where are we at, how is this still going for so long? But even with Cans, I didn't have that feeling where it got to, I was like, okay, like we have to be towards the end, but in like a good way. But it was only like song like 6, and I was like, okay, shit, there's still like a few more songs. I'm stoked to see how this rounds out. And I think I listened to Cans between the other day and today. I probably listened to Cans, well, mainly the whole discography, at least 4 times. Just get the full feel.
Cheers to the place, brother.
Yeah. Please punch those numbers, man.
Yeah, you know, doing what I can. But I mean, I love everything you guys are putting out, and this EP is like, was the EP the intention to follow up Cans, or was it just like we kind of want to put something out? It's been a couple years, just get something going.
Well, I think because because when we started, we like put out the 2. Well, Overtime was basically like offcuts from the first one, wasn't it? So it's like we put out like 2 or 1.5, whatever, EPs in like a year, and then just wanted to get on the album like straight away. And it kind of felt like, I don't even remember what the time thing was for like when between overtime and cans, but it's just fun putting out songs, isn't it? So you just want to do that as much as possible. And yeah.
And I think it's because they are short and easy to just like consume. It's like we want to try and get them out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, don't people get bored of the old stuff and then be waiting for ages for the new stuff? So it's kind of like, the sooner we can get stuff out as well, and it's not just like sitting on our Google Drive where we're excited about it, but no one knows it yet. It's like, just want to get it out. And like releasing music takes fucking ages most of the time. So it's kind of like, we didn't really realize that when we were like, before we started doing the album stuff, we were like pitching that to labels and things like that. It was like, fuck me, this isn't gonna be out for ages.
Yeah. We just had it for fucking, what do you mean that was 6 months?
Yeah, because I think we recorded it in the January of the year before, and it came out in the February. So we had it for like a full year. And it was like, for fuck's sake, this is so annoying. We just want to put it out. But there's just lots of logistical shit that goes into it that we don't know anything about. So we were just like, what do you mean it's going to take a year? You know? So I don't know. But this one was like, we started writing new stuff pretty much straight after cans, after we finished cans, or like after cans came out.
Yeah.
And then we just had an opportunity to record with one of Max's old workmates.
Yeah, a guy worked at my like, you know, real life job for like maybe like a month or so. It was real sound. He said he was into music, and he said he was like recording at he was doing a master's in audio engineering. So he said, if you don't know, Brighton's like a big music university town. There's like 2 music unis. Everyone you meet is in a band. And he was like, I can't find bands to record. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, I'm willing to do it for free. And I was like, record my band, mate. So I just did that for free. Tom Hill, who's a really good producer at a place called the Bookhouse in London. He like
mixed and
mastered it, yeah. And so on a whole, it was probably the cheapest like thing I've ever done musically, but it was but yeah, really happy with the results.
Yeah, big time. And we did it all in one evening. We did I think we did 5 songs in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then one of them went in the bin.
Yeah.
So there was a quick turnaround of like just getting them done, because some of them like Better Weather we had for a while, and you know, everything else, the last tune, we had that for a bit as well. So it's kind of like some of them we've been playing for a while, sort of road testing them and shit like that. So it's like they were ready to go. So it's like, well, if this is the opportunity, it's like we want to record some stuff. Yeah. It's like, well, we'll just do these and, you know, see where it goes really. Because initially we were kind of like, oh, we'll just sit on these and wait until we've got enough to do another album. Yeah. And then this opportunity came up, and it's like, well, we've got these 4 done, so let's just do them now. Yeah, yeah. We already had like maybe like 5 or 6, which are going to be on the album, the next album kind of thing. Yeah. But it was like it didn't really feel like they fit with those. It wasn't they're like they're not drastically different or anything like that. It's just almost like thematically. Yeah. Like there's the sort of LP2. It sort of, they feel like they go together better than those ones were kind of the cousins to those ones. Yeah, so, yeah. We'll just put those out separate.
No, I totally get that. It's always nice too to kind of have that little buffer before you try and go into something that's like more cohesive. Not saying that like these songs are all just that this EP isn't just random songs, but these ones feel in their own world, but I can see where you're saying where like they just didn't fit with like what's coming down the line. Which I'm stoked to see what's coming next.
And we'll send it across once it's done, mate. Don't worry.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so like I said, this EP is a sick little 4-song ripper. Better Weather Than You has been out since December 1st. With that, you also did this like kind of cool music video where it's live shots of like you guys actually recorded playing like actually like in a music video, and then I don't know which one of you did it, but like you kind of did like this digital like animation around everything while it's going. Like I thought that was really cool to do, and like something a little bit more unique than what you see most days.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah,
it was all Harry. Yeah, it's like, for lack of a better term, I think you're in charge of the art direction, I suppose. I'm just kind of, that's, and you're like learning everything's like done in house, and Harry's a pretty good guy to have in a band because you will do everything on the cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always on the cheap. Yeah, big time. But you're just like, it's like another benefit of the two-piece is like, if one of us has an idea, it's the same with the songwriting and the artwork and like merch and videos and all, everything really. It's like there's no, if we're not both on board, then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'll come up with ideas and stuff and just throw everything at max and see what sticks, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, I think I'm going to do this. And it's like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And then it's done. You know what I mean? And it's just an easy thing. Instead of, there's not like that third or fourth or fifth person being like, oh, I don't really like it. I want to do something different, blah, blah, blah. And then they have to compromise.
Yeah.
Because the larger group wants to do this thing. It's like, do you like this? No. Okay. In the bin it goes, kind of thing.
Yeah, or we'll rework it. But
yeah.
But it's but yeah, you got a green screen and
yeah. So we went to the guys from Really Big, Really Clever. We mentioned before, they helped us film it. And yeah, we just did a bunch of shit in front of a green screen, and then I used like Procreate to just draw some stupid shit and kind of laid it over it. And I just kind of spent a day just drawing things and then editing them in and being like, oh, this could use something else. And so it was vaguely planned before I started doing it. And then it kind of just like, as I was doing it, I was just adding extra bits in and stuff like that and animations and stuff like that. And yeah, just figuring it out. But I don't really know what I'm doing either. So I'm kind of like, it's a big like trial and error kind of thing. Like, I want to do this, but I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't be asked to actually learn how to use the apps that I use. I'll just Google, I need to do this right now. How do I do this? And
I'm the same way. Because I growing up, I never played music. My friends were all musicians. Like I just TM'd and like sold merch when like they had a tour. So like I tagged along, and then it was like, oh, I want to do a podcast. How do I use recording software? How do I do this? And then it was just like Googling a lot. And then I was like, oh, I want to start doing video versions. How the fuck do I edit a video? And then like I had to Google that. And then everything I do is still super dumbed down and DIY. But half the time I need to do something that I haven't done in a while. And I just go back to good old Google and try and find those links again.
The internet's the best thing in the world, isn't it, mate?
It's great.
But pretty much all the sort of creative side of it is all just kind of, I've got a vague idea. I need to just figure out how to just make this thing happen, and then everything else I'll learn when I need to know it. Which is probably a really shit way of learning stuff, because I'm kind of like,
I mean, it means you're not using up sort of like bandwidth with unnecessary things. You need to know how to do this. You're going to look that up, potentially retain that information. If you don't, Google's still there, man.
I know, it's good. But no, that was fun. It was fun to make that, and then I think we've made all the other videos we've done ourselves as well. We haven't really required any. Well, we haven't enlisted anybody.
To be fair, Pat, I make Pat who runs
a
festival called Washed Out. He did a video for Castanets, which is really
cool. Yeah. There was a lot of like printing stuff out and like making animations on something that I didn't understand.
Yeah,
he sent a little clip and he was just like, oh, I've done this, and I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. I don't know how to do that. We just asked him to do the full video, and he was like, yeah, of course. So shout out to Pat.
That one came out super like crazy and like amazing. Because like I saw like the thumbnail for it when I watched it, and I was like, oh, maybe this is just like a cover art to the music video. And then just seeing like how it was all done, I was like, this is intense in like the most amazing way.
Sick,
it was so sick.
I love it so much. He smashed it.
But I mean, all of your guys' music videos that I watched were really sick. I mean, like there's the Rather music video where you guys are all just like in a living room. I watched the Malleable one, which is like that black and white, just like double-decker bus kind of cruising around, going down like train tracks, which was nice and chill and just a good time.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. I forgot about that song. Yeah. That was a standalone like thing we just released, and it's like, do I know how to play that one anymore?
Yeah. That's all footage from Amberley Working Museum, which is like a little village near the village that I grew up in, and my parents used to run the pottery there. Like they do ceramics and stuff. yeah, so they used to do that, and I was just like, oh, this might be a cool. I found that video on YouTube and was like, oh, this might be cool, and then just kind of fuck with it a bit and put it over the song.
Yeah,
it was a pretty easy video to make, really. But that was again me trying to like, I don't know how to edit videos, so that was kind of just like trial and error and seeing if I could make something with something else or whatever. But yeah, so they've all kind of got a little bit of green screen. They all feel very DIY, but that's kind of the vibe, I think.
Yeah. Not gonna make people think that we're anything more than that. We're quite simply not capable.
But kind of jumping back to, I know Harry, you mentioned like obviously the plus side of it just being the two of you is when you have an idea for like a design or something, you just bring it to Max and it's a real quick yes or no. Has there been a time where you brought something that you really wanted to use that Max was just like, I don't know if we should really go this route, that you just like...
There was one thing I was thinking about doing for ages. I was going to try and do like a full animation video for behavioral patterns, because that song's like a minute. It was like, if I'm going to animate anything, that's going to be the one, because it's going to require the least amount of animation. So I had this kind of like vague idea of doing these different panels, and there was like a little dog guy just like doing sort of a repeated cycle kind of thing. And I drew a bunch of sort of like test versions of it, and it just didn't really land. And then I was just like, oh, I'll just forget about this, or I'll just come back to it later. And then I actually looked at it the other day, and I was like, I'm really glad I didn't bother with this, because I don't like it anymore. So it did work out. Like, you know, sometimes I'm like, fucking no, it's a good idea, and then he's right.
I'm fairly like, I think I'm fairly sort of.
No, but most of the time it's like we're on the same page with a lot of things, and I know what he likes, so I'll make stuff with that in mind. So it's like I'm not wasting my time a lot of the time, because it's like, well, I know this is basically already pre-approved.
It's already got sign off from head office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it would just be like, oh, is it fucking something football related? That kind of shit. Is it about lagers? Yeah, sound. You know. Yeah, we know. I know what I know the brief before I even started doing it, really. So
yeah, basically.
One cool thing that you're also doing for this EP is there are currently pre-orders up for vinyl, but you can also, I really love that you are doing this, you can also pick up a Regal Cheer cooler bag that, one, it looks super sick, but two, like I can't even think of any band that I've ever seen like do a cooler bag like that. Like, I see koozies all the time, but never cooler bags. And I really commend you for coming up with that idea and going with it.
Thank you. I did actually steal it from somebody else, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, a band called Ditz, right?
Yeah, a band called Ditz. So the aforementioned Jordan, he runs a screen printing merch company with his friend Josh, our friend Josh. And I've started working there sort of like one day a week every now and then. And I just saw what they were doing, and I was just like, that's fucking cool. That thing can fit like 4 cans in it. It's kind of on brand. Yeah, or you can put your lunch in it if you don't drink, but but yeah, it was just something fucking silly and like, I don't know, beer related. But yeah, I did actually recently just buy loads of koozies that we're going to make for the tour. So yeah, we're branching into that soon.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I bought koozies for the podcast. I haven't gotten coolers. What I really wanted to do, and I don't know if you guys get them over there, because I also haven't been able to find them recently. But do you guys get like 40-ounce like bottles of beer?
Oh yeah.
I've been wanting to do koozies specifically for those, but to do like, because I think it'd be such like a stupid niche thing that it would be funny in my mind. For like 7 of them, it's like $140. It's stupid.
No,
but one day maybe I'll do it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's for the true drinkers out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I know we've kind of jumped around Regal Cheer, the new EP. I want to make sure we aren't missing anything like Oh, I guess here's a question. Like I know what my probably what my favorite song is off of this EP. But if someone's like just getting into Regal Cheer and they're about to listen to this EP, or they only have a chance to listen to like at least one song, which they should be able to make 6 minutes work to listen to the whole thing. But if they can only listen to one song, what song would you recommend they listen to off this EP?
If they're that strapped for time, I'd probably say probably Everything Else.
Yeah, I think that's our favorite of the lot. Is the last song.
Yeah.
Just it's fucking fast, intense, vibey.
Yeah, really, it's so simple. Like it's the only one that I can like confidently just not fuck up when we play it live.
Yeah.
The rest of them, there's like still like, you know, doozies happen or whatever. But with that one on there, like the verse is like it's fucking one chord, man. If I fuck that up, then it's like I should choose a different walk of life.
But that was one that we road tested on the. Was it? No, it wasn't.
No.
I'm lying. That was Better Weather. We road tested that last year.
Yeah.
On the tour. I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, Everything Else I think is our personal favorite. But it's 6 minutes long. Just listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, the whole thing's a ripper. My other favorite off the EP is probably Pedigree. Just like the whole like line of like the angstiness of just being like, what kind of dog do you think I am? A mud or a pedigree? Like it's so, it works so well. And then I don't know if it's just because, you know, I think it's part of this, but obviously, you know, you guys are in the UK, you guys have, you know, to me, you guys have accents. To me, to you, I have accents. I think if it were like an American band saying it, those lines, I don't think it would come across as like punk enough. But being it's in an English accent, it works so fucking well. It fucking rules.
I really like that song. It's like that's one which like Harry like voice noted me for like ages ago, before we recorded Cans.
It kind of started with that line. Like I came up with that and was like, that's cool, I'll keep that in the bank. And then I just spent ages trying to figure out the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it kind of went through so many different versions.
And you were like, I think you wanted to bin it for like
I always want to bin the songs that I sing.
Yeah, but I was pretty persistent with that one.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the only reason that it wasn't formed into a song earlier was because I just couldn't. Sometimes like some bands find this like quite confusing when we like tell them, but like when Harry like writes a song, sometimes it will be like the drums and the vocals, and I've just got to sort of like reverse engineer it from that, which I personally find really fucking difficult because I don't think I'm that as accomplished as a musician. Like pull that off every time. But like that was like, nah, we just need to be patient with that one. And then like something came out, and I was like, yeah, guess that'll do.
It's kind of like if that stuff's there, it's like you can just mull it over. It's not like a right of a guitar part, right? Fucking now, this needs to be done. It's kind of like this is an idea. If you can come up with something on it, then that sounds. And sometimes we'll go into like, you know, practice room or whatever, and I'll just start looping stuff and, you know, see what comes out of that. So I think like Behavioral Patterns was the same, wasn't it? It was like that was vocal and drums like off the bat. It was like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, see what you come up with. But yeah, no, thanks for the kind words on that one, mate. Yeah, I was very insecure about that for a very long time.
No, yeah, it everything. I love everything you guys are doing. And one other cool thing you guys are doing, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, is after the EP comes out, you guys are going on a nice little tour run. And you know, from what I'm seeing, it's a mostly free or donation based tour. Was there any like reasoning behind doing it like that rather than, you know, like whatever doors?
It stems from an initial anxiety of no one's going to come to the Brighton gig, so we need to make it free. Even though it's like a hometown thing for us, it's like people will come maybe, but I'm still like I'm never confident that people are going to show up. So I was just like, I don't know, I think I just woke up fucking half asleep and was just like, oh, no one's going to come, and just like text Connor, who like is sorting this out, like sorts out all of our booking and stuff like that. I just texted him. I was like, can we make the Brighton show free? Because no one's going to come. And then it kind of, I think it just kind of unrolled that like a bunch of the other venues almost like followed suit. I'm not sure if it was like,
I don't really understand how like the logistics of that or like whatever and the finances really work on that.
Yeah, because I don't know if they intended it to be that they, you know, when we booked the shows, I don't know if they intended it to be free initially, but I think once that one was free, and the one in Glasgow is always free. I think that venue always does free shows. So there was already two of them, you know, one of them on there, and then I was like, make Brighton free because it would just be more fun because you'll be able to just get people in because you're not charging them any money. And then it just kind of unraveled that. I think it's like 7 of 9 for free, something like that. So yeah, it should be fun. I mean, it's just like, you know, getting people to come to a free show is a lot easier than be like, do you want to pay £8 to see something you might fucking hate?
Right. Yeah, no, it's awesome that you know, that all the other venues kind of follow suit and like are cool about it, and like, yeah, hopefully there's a good turnout for this whole run. I think you also have no days off, which props for that. Like, you know, there's usually always like 1 or 2 days that you're just like, no, we couldn't book anything on a Tuesday.
To be honest, like if it's well, that was nearly the case until like last week, and we got Huddersfield, if you've heard of it. Yeah, it's a town in like Yorkshire, which I've never been to, but I found out a couple of years ago that my granddad used to support Huddersfield Town FC, so I'm quite excited for that. Get to go see that new little state. We do a thing when we go around as well. We just take pictures in front of football stadiums. So yeah, we've got a couple new ones there. Huddersfield's one, Lincoln's one, Blackpool's one. So
yeah, should be fun. But yeah, I don't know. We like not doing days off.
No,
because it's like, you know, we've got normal jobs like everybody else. Fucking, you know, I think you can't really be in a band unless you have a normal job or you're like fucking
Nepo baby or something.
Signed to Warner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of like, well, if we're taking a week off to go on tour, I don't want to have one of those days that, you know, one of my holiday days is we're just bumbling around a town that we don't know.
Yeah, Blackpool in February.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a beach town in the north of England where it's windy.
And it kind of like interrupts the kind of the vibe of the whole thing as well. Like we toured a couple of years ago and for like 2 weeks, and we had like 4 days off in the middle of it, and it was like we could have just been fucking playing gigs, but we're just kind of like sitting about being like, what are we gonna do for 4 days kind of thing. And because we weren't home, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking play Xbox or some shit. It was just like, oh, we've got to find something to do. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like to make the most of the time off when we get to do it, because we can't tour all the time.
Yeah.
So when we do, it's like, yeah, get it where you can, kind of thing. Just
like you guys brought up, because this is also on my list of questions or points that I wanted to bring up, is, you know, you take these photos in front of all the football stadiums in the towns that you kind of visit, and there's a really good montage of photos on your Instagram from all the highlights of like 2023 for all the ones you do your squats at. You know, we're still, I mean, we're recording right now. It's still January. We're still early in 2024, but are there any like football stadiums that are at like the very top of your list that you're hoping to be able to hit this year?
So in terms of
there's one in Glasgow I'd really like to go to.
Oh yeah.
So we've played there a handful of times now, and there's a really nice man called Neil who comes to see us, and he has quite a bit of correspondence with Max and talks about football on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he supports a team called Partick Thistle.
Real quick, they've got like their mascot is designed by the artist David Shrigley, and like it's been described as Lisa Simpson on acid. It just looks fucking crazy and fun. Oh yeah.
So Neil sent us some little pin badges with the that's the mascot of the football team.
Hell yeah.
It's just like a weird little guy. But it's like round the corner from the venue we're playing in Glasgow, so we'd like to try and
we're definitely going to go at that one.
That's on the list for this tour for sure. And maybe we can get Neil involved and get him in the squad as well, because that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where it was something to do. We're always really punctual when we show up to shows, just like really anxious about being late. So
we're in Nottingham 6 hours early. Yeah.
And we'd already done the fucking stadium as well. So
we had no reason to be there other than to like walk around and sort of eat kind of fine food.
Yeah, but no, it's just like something fun to do, really. Instead of just like it breaks up the sort of like the cycle of going to the venue, loading in, waiting around for ages, playing the gig, loading out, sleeping somewhere weird, and then driving to the next place. It's like, no, we're going to go and get a squat photo, and then and it's cool to see the stadium.
Yeah, because like I'm into football, and like I'm chipping away at Harry to get him the same. But
yeah, I'm going to try. I'm trying to get into it, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
But like, because I'm from Jersey. Like we until very recently we didn't have like a team that would play regularly. Until like 2019, I think it was. So like growing up, I never had the chance to like go to like stadiums and that. So like, I just think it's so fucking cool that like it can just be the center of a community, and it's just like things that it's something that people do with their families. It's like such a big part of like town identity.
And it's almost like British culture as well.
I think it's the like league football is the best sort of British cultural export like ever, and it's like it's just so fucking sick to like see it, and also just to see the difference in size. Like we went to like Newport, which is like in we're going on tour, but it's in Wales, and it's kind of they're like a real low league team, and it's like it's not an amazing.
It's not a stadium.
No.
It's a field with like
with goals.
With goals and like some seating and stuff. And then we've been to some of the bigger ones.
Like Aston Villa in Birmingham. It's like that's one
that might be in the.
It definitely is. Like, when we just look like everyone in the photo just looks hard as nails. It's so funny because we're all just like absolute fucking pussies.
But we try to look as tough as possible. We're not tough at all.
But like that's just like a real old like looking sort of building. Like it's pretty magnificent. And like, we went to Newcastle. That's fucking massive.
Really big. The Man U one, that's another really good photo that I like.
Yeah,
and that's a really fucking big stadium.
Yeah,
they have like gift shops and shit. They're so big, and it's like fucking all right. So sometimes I have a little mooch around and be like, if there's anything funny.
Yeah,
but no, it's just like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fun and silly.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, us U.S. people. For anyone that's watched like Ted Lasso, I feel like really brought it to at least the American main stage, where just showing how big like a football team can be in their community. I've seen bits and pieces. Like I've seen all of Ted Lasso, but I mean I've seen like just bits and pieces of like different either documentaries and stuff like that, or just showcasing it throughout my life. And it's crazy how big it is. Like obviously here in the States we have so many different sports leagues, teams, everything, but there's not one. I mean, some like Americans might get crazy about like American football, but like there's not, in my opinion, a sport that encapsulates an entire nation like football does in the UK. It's insane. And it's also insane how many different tiers and different stadiums are just spread around in general.
It's absolutely nuts. Like everywhere's got one. It's I think as well the reason that it's so like people just go so fucking crazy for it is like because like with like American sports you don't have like promotion and relegation, like do you? So it's like over here it's like it just in association football globally outside of America, if you do shit you're not going to be playing the big teams anymore. Like that's kind of like there's clubs which have just like gone completely bust because they've dropped down so much. It's perilous. And like I don't know. There's a lot of Scottish people in Jersey, and I've seen like grown men cry at the pub with my dad who when Celtic lose or something like that. And it's like I've never cried at football, but like the fact that so many people like do it's like
it evokes that emotion.
This
is life or death if this team wins or loses. Like
it's the best.
I mean the EP was taken from the commentary of a football game, and it just fit. It just made sense, and it was just like, well, this means two things. But it was from was it Sheffield United versus Wrexham? And we just had it on in the background. I just heard them say, I was like, what the fuck did he just say? That's well funny. That's us.
Before we move on from this, I also want to say like the other thing I really love about just like the UK and like their football traditions is the chants that happen throughout the games and matches, because that shit does not happen it might happen at some like MLS games from what I've heard, but you don't hear an entire like American football stadium like chanting or singing like a team song to like fuck with the other team at all or at any point. And to see like I love scrolling through TikTok and just like those videos pop up, and I'm just like, I don't understand half the things that they're really meaning deep down, but this shit's gold. It's amazing.
Yeah. Some of them are really like creative as well, and like if they just like pick up on, I don't know, like a pop song and just sort of like rehash that, it's great. Like sometimes some just like grab you. Like there's one about a West Ham player at the moment called Jared Bowen, and like that's just like we won a sort of like European competition last year, and it's the first time we've won anything in my life. So it's like I was fucking buzzing, and like the whole pub was just like screaming this at the end, and it's like, and it's about him shagging his wife, and it's like this is like I don't know, but he's just sees it as like as like an endearment thing of then because and he's like loved and like he loves like the fans and shit. Yeah. It's just like this is so cool, and he scored, so he's the best.
But we also try and like channel the sort of football vibe in the song sometimes. It's like we want to try and make, if there's like gang vocal parts on the album, there's some gang vocal bits and it like ends with like gang vocals. And we were like, we just wanted to kind of make it a bit football.
Yeah, that's something which we're like when we're writing a song, it's like, oh, we could make it more football. but, it's yet to be sang in the terraces, but we'll see.
One of these days, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to see a lot more photos of you guys in front of football stadiums. Because I also love like just doing the squat, acting hard like in front of it. Because I did that too on tour, where we would get to a town early, and I think we were like 19 to 20, so we were like, we don't want to spend money. Let's just walk around the mall because it's free. So we'd go to the mall, and I had just right before this tour, I had just quit my job at Journeys. So what I did is I hard styled in front of every Journeys that I could find in every mall, and then I just had like a compilation of them. It was
great. Love that.
It's so fun, man. It's just doing something fucking stupid when you're away. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's just, and
it gets like like for us anyway, like walking from the venue to this or driving to get into the stadium. It's like you see the town. You see a lot more of the town than actually just the thing. Because I hate like. I've never actually been in this position, I don't think, but like I don't like the idea of like having to just go to the venue in the new city that you've never been to before and actually just not seeing what it's about whatsoever. So seeing, just having a little mosey about class.
Yeah, it's kind of an excuse to look around, isn't it? Yeah. And like, when we fucking drive anywhere, it's like we program the sat nav, and it's like, the first stop is always the stadium, and then the venue's next. So it's like get it done, and then we go to the venue. So it's like,
the rock show's secondary.
Yeah. Always make a beeline for fucking squatting somewhere.
That's awesome. I know we've talked about the EP. We kind of talked about some of the merch that's going to come with it. Obviously, we talked about the tour. Is there anything I might have missed between Regal Cheer or the EP that you want the people to know about before we start to transition?
I don't know. I think it's all kind of, it feels all covered. What do? We talked about tunes, we talked about shows, we talked about football. Yeah, the big three, baby.
There is one more show that I did want to mention because it does happen about 1 or 2 weeks after this episode comes out because I haven't fully fleshed out this month's episodes. But you are also playing the Manchester Punk Fest this year. Congratulations, that'll be sick. The lineup is amazing.
Really fucking excited for that one.
It always is, and it's one which neither of us you haven't
I've never been.
neither of us has been, but it's like it's always one where like the lineup is always just absolute gold. They've always got like bands, a real sort of big range of like sized artists, I suppose, and like
it's just kind of anything that fits under the like punk umbrella. So it's like you can see sort of like crusty shit, or you can see something that's a bit more like twee, but still a bit of gruff stuff. And it's like, I don't know, you can see a lot of different stuff, even if it is just like a punk festival. Do you know what I mean? So
loads of my friends are like playing it as well. So I think it's going to be an absolute piss off.
Yeah, and Manchester's a fucking well cool city to hang around in.
Have you been to the UK?
I haven't yet. It's high on my list. I just haven't made it over yet.
If you do, man, like I'm obviously going to say Brighton, but like Manchester's probably the other one to go to for like alternative like stuff. Probably,
yeah. It's just it's massive, but there's like there's just loads of shit there. There's loads of stuff going on. It's just a cool place, cool vibes.
Oh,
yeah,
and drinks are fairly cheap.
Yeah, drinks are cheaper than here. Yeah.
For people that are maybe also in the UK and have listened to the podcast, some other friends are going to be playing the Manchester Punk Fest. New Junk City from, I think they're Atlanta based in Georgia. I'm probably fucking that up, but they're flying over. They're going to be playing as well. So,
what
shout out
like?
to them. They're more punk, but like I'd say like early 2000s, like Americanized punk, but still super sick and they just put out a new record last year.
Oh, decent.
Cool, man. Yeah,
we'll check it out.
Yeah.
And then I think another friend of the podcast, Sam Russo from the I just blanked on his band name, but Sam Russo, I think I saw him on the flyer. Super sick as well to see them going over. But
yeah. I mean, they always do like a good job of getting like American bands sort of over. I think like I don't know, it seems like a few things like Manchester Punk Fest, and you get things like Outbreak, which is more like hardcore stuff, but also with like punky shit as well, like kind of niche-ish, cult, like sort of what scenes, I guess, just sort of you can. I mean, it's pretty surprising considering how like really small the UK is, but you can just get these really niche, really fucking class like scene festivals, scene all dayers for exactly what you're after, which is obviously fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Because there's also, I think Slam Dunk Fest also happens in the UK, and like that's another big one that like the lineups are always stacked for it.
They're always massive.
But yeah, like definitely UK is on the list to hopefully get to at some point. Once these American companies start paying us more, you know. But that's a whole other story. That's a whole different podcast.
Well, give us a shout if you make it over, mate.
Yeah, dude, of course.
You've got a place to crash in Brighton, mate.
Dude, hell yeah. We'll get some beers. We'll have a good time. We'll have to check out Punk Show. Hopefully see Regal Cheer in person because that'd be sick. Also.
Yeah,
hell yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
But you know, normally in this transition period, this is usually the beer segment where we kind of talk about what everyone's drinking on this episode. I know you guys had a show last night that we kind of talked about earlier, so you guys are just taking it easy and drinking some waters on this episode, which is totally fine. It is, plus it's Sunday. Everyone's got to work tomorrow. Like, don't get crazy.
I did all of my drinking yesterday.
Yeah.
But for Regal Cheer, or you guys in like individually in general, what it's like your normal like kind of go to beers or pints that you normally have?
We like shit lager.
So not too shit. So like I don't know if you've had like Carling or Carlsberg. They're like real sort of bottom of the rung like slop, like and kind of anything up to that, but below what we'd call like wanky beers. So like IPAs and like Beavertown and like that sort of shit.
The ones that like the beers that like taste like too much stuff.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You just want to like slam them down your gullet, and it's like fizzy. It's like kind of nice.
Like Stella's great. Beer Moretti's great.
Yeah,
like all that kind of stuff, you know. So that's like kind of go to. It's just like.
Have you ever had Pabst Blue Ribbon?
I don't think so.
I really want to have. I want to know what the sort of like comparison, the like UK sort of comparison sort of thing is to it. It seems to be. Is that? Am I getting this wrong? But it seems to have like a bit of an association with things like I swear like it sponsors like Fest maybe.
Yeah, they sponsor Fest. It's when you think about like punk venues and just like dingy like hole in the wall places that you're gonna listen to some crust punk or just venues in general. It goes hand in hand with Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Right.
Like I mean it's usually the cheapest thing at a show for one.
Yeah.
And depending on where the show is, it can be anywhere from like $2 to $6 for a pint, and it's smooth. It's got enough. See, like the guys that drink the IPAs, they're like, oh, we want something with flavor and everything. Pabst has good flavor without being like harsh and tasting like an IPA. It's
right.
full.
Okay. Cool.
It's not just like a super like light beer.
Yeah, sure. Oh, sounds. Yeah, because like I might have actually had it. I went to my girlfriend lived in New York for a year, and I went over and went to a show. So I think I potentially had it, but I don't know. I was like 60 by then, so I don't know. I wasn't sort of being a sommelier for the lagers at that time. But
well, if you ever make it here, if I make it there, I'll try and sneak some through security and bring them with.
Oh, please do.
See how long they last.
Yeah.
But yeah, if people haven't noticed, I'm just drinking some good old PBRs on this episode. Nothing can beat that. And it's already in my fridge, so it's a plus. But now we're gonna kind of transition to the later half of this episode. I mean, this is always my favorite part of the episode. This is where we kind of talk about some fun stories from you guys' time of music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording music videos works as well. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. Yeah, just usually the stories you always reminisce about with your friends, those are usually the best ones that everyone loves to hear.
We were trying to think about this on the drive back today, and we could only think about like when things have gone wrong.
Yeah, like cars breaking down.
Yeah,
like,
we have a nice time when we go away. Like, all the, like most, 99% of the time.
And we're pretty glass half full.
Yeah. Like it's like a if you don't laugh you'll cry kind of situation. And something goes wrong, it's just like this just has to be funny. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a fucking breakdown.
Well, speaking of breakdowns, we had like we played a show in a place called Trowbridge, which is sort of near Bristol. Show of sounds. Like we were driving back the next day. We stayed at our mate's house in Bristol. We were driving back the next day.
We were borrowing a friend's car.
Yeah, a friend who
we just drove up for one show.
Yeah,
and then came back the next day. And we borrowed Max's mate's cars.
The guy I play five-a-side football with, borrowed his car. The clutch started to like give out or whatever. So we like pulled over to the side of the road because it started to like smell like pretty like burny.
Yeah.
And obviously, a bit of a red flag. So like we called like the AA. A guy like came and picked us up, took us to the service station,
which was like we were going to stop there anyway. It was like 2 minutes down the road, but we broke down before we got there. So we had to wait for the tow truck guy to take us 2 minutes down the road. And then he was just like, well, your car's fucked. So we'll send another car that will take another truck that will take you.
Because he was like a local guy, wasn't he? He wasn't like who my like insurance thing would have got kind of thing. So he like took us there. Then the AA guy came and we told him everything that was wrong with the car. And then we saw him like pull up in like a little van and we were like, he's not fucking towing us. And then he literally just like looked at the thing and was there like, yeah, your clutch is gone. And we were like, yeah, I know.
We told you.
we told like everyone we've fucking spoken to today this. And then he sent another person, didn't come for like
11 hours.
We left like 11 or 12 hours. Like it was a really nice day. So we just eating KFC on the bonnet of the car. It was like,
but it was a bank holiday weekend. So it's like, I guess it's like fucking if you break down like the 4th of July or some shit, it's like fucking no one's gonna come pick you up. Like everyone's got the day off. So it's like, yeah, you're lucky to get anybody to do anything for you.
And when we had a stag do that night as well, which we obviously missed. But, but when we were there, we were like, babe, there's an ex-national treasure called Jimmy Savile. I don't know if you've heard of him. He basically turned out to be an absolute fucking Roman with like, he's a paedophile basically.
Yeah, real big time paedophile.
Yeah, like a systemic paedophile. And it's like, he's a fucking gross piece of shit, obviously. But there was a documentary that came out about him and we were like umming and ahhing about when to like watch it. And we were like,
it was gonna be depressing.
It's absolutely fucking bummer.
Yeah.
And we were like, this day can't really get any worse. Should we just sort of like compound the fucking grief of the experience and just like we watched it on Harry's iPad as the sun was going down. It was summer as well, but at night it got fucking cold, so we were just in shorts and t-shirts like this fucking stinks.
Just wait for this contract that's not showing up.
Watching this documentary about like this heinous man.
He basically used to do like a TV show called Jim Will Fix It, where he gets kids on the show and they, what's your like big dream kind of things, like, oh, I want to play, it would just be fucking kids being like, I want to go and see this thing, or like I want to play football with this team or some shit, and then he would make it happen. It was in the 80s or some shit. And then it just turns out he was just like, being a big diddler. People didn't find out for ages until like after he died, and then it's just like he did all this charity work and no one ever suspected him. But if you look him up, he looks like the dodgiest cunt you've ever seen in your life.
He's like,
how did people not know?
He's like, it's like he's just like an ugly looking, like fucking weird British man with like yellow kind of like doll like hair. And it's just like, it's not blonde, it's like piss yellow.
Always retracted, always smoked cigars. Like, he was minging.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we watched that really depressing documentary, like just broken down, miserable in his car. And then a guy showed up to take us home, but he was like, "Oh, I haven't got enough miles on the clock, so I can't take him all the way." So he took us like 40 minutes outside of Brighton and dropped us off. There was another tow truck so we got 3 tow trucks in one day.
Yeah.
I'd never been in one at all.
The novelty wore off pretty sharp.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of crap. What else we got? There's oh yeah, so in a band I played with historically, we stayed with this guy who's a friend of ours now called Derek in Glasgow, and like he's just a bit of a mad cunt, really. I think that's fair to say. Like he's sound as fuck, but like he's like nuts.
The loopy Scottish guy.
Yeah, he loves. Yeah, but we were playing in Edinburgh on this like tour we did a few years ago, and like with the other band, I was like, they sorted everything out because we were like supporting them, and it's like they sorted everything out, like places to stay and all that, apart from in Glasgow. And I was like, don't worry, I've got it. We've got this. I've got this guy, Derek. I seem to remember him being quite reliable. But then we drove back from Edinburgh after the show to Glasgow to stay at his, and we had a show in Glasgow that night. The next night, yeah. Sorry, yeah. And then he just didn't fucking answer the door for like ages.
He gave us the wrong address.
So I was like beeping this. I was beeping, and it was on like this big like terrace, like flats sort of situation.
So we were buzzing the wrong building.
And this guy answered the fucking thing, and he was like, "Hello," and I was like, "Hi, is this? Hi, is Derek there?" Because it didn't sound like him. He wasn't actually Scottish himself. So I was like, "Is Derek in?" He was there, like, let me check." I was like, "What the fuck, mate? Like,
yeah.
What do you mean you have to? How many people you got up there?" And then we were
how many of them called Derek?
Well, Scotland. Yeah. But like, and then we went to his. We actually got to his actual house. I can't remember how we found out that was it. But he was asleep. And his neighbour heard us like buzzing and like let us in kind of thing. He was just like passed out on the couch, and we were like, "Okay, hey mate, nice to meet you." Like blah blah blah. We stayed up drinking with him for ages, and the TM Connor, who's like one of our best friends, but like I don't know, he's got a tendency to be fairly miserable. He likes his beauty sleep. He was just like, "I need to fucking go to bed like now," and it got to like 3 a.m. Like yeah, eventually I crashed out. The next night he came to our Glasgow show. We went back to the house. He like met us there because we didn't have enough room in the van to sort of take him back. There was only like a real short like tube or whatever away. Exactly the same thing happened.
He passed out on the couch.
He passed out on the couch again, but just like but he left his door open, like his front door. His neighbour let us in again. His like door to his flat was open, and he was just watching a At the Driver live set on Jules Holland, fucking so loud, like like I'm surprised we didn't hear it from outside.
Yeah,
and his and then yeah, he just stayed up like drinking, and then
so Connor tried to turn the music down after it got to a certain time. He was like, "I've had enough of this." He tried to turn the music down, but he changed the song to a song by Big Country,
which is like a real big Scottish band from like back in the day.
Yeah, so Derek was winding down. He was about to leave, and then he heard Big Country come on, and he just stormed in like, "Yes, this is my fucking tune!" And he jumped onto the arm of his sofa until it broke. Yeah.
So he was like real fucking jacked up again after that.
Yeah, and then he ended up leaving like an hour after that. So it was just like Colin tried to do the right thing, and he ended up just fucking it completely.
Yeah,
but we were having a great time. Mate, they were miserable about it, but we were just like, "No, this is funny. Like Derek's a laugh." And but we had a double bed to stay in, and they all sleep on the floor.
Yeah, but yeah, massive thank you, Derek.
Yeah,
like,
he's great.
He's class. Like I love him like loads, but he's but yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was funny for us. It was bad for them, but
yeah, big time.
Yeah. But again, it's the same as like, you know, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Like you've got to make the best out of any situation, even if it is a bit.
And that's one of them is
not what you expected. You know,
you've got to sort of if somebody like if you're staying at someone's house for free for like 2 nights on the trot, and they kind of want to party, you've sort of got to want to party as well. You know, like it's kind of his house, his rules.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, that was good. What else we got? Any other silly things happen?
I don't know. I can't think of any.
No,
I'm so hungover.
Yeah. To be fair, like yeah, I'd probably have said like the Sal.
Yeah.
There's just in Nottingham, just going out, just getting absolutely wrecked at this golf pub. Where just everyone like looks fucking crazy. Everyone like looks like there was a guy there that So there's a shop over here. I don't know if you got like Aldi in America
or like
Lidl.
Lidl.
Or Lidl. Yeah, so like there's this guy who like looked like Lemmy basically, and this guy.
Someone described him as Little Lemmy because he was just like so off-brand. But he had like a cowboy hat and like sunglasses on indoors. But he had like a vest on. It's fucking freezing cold here. I was like double jackets and fucking still indoor, like boiling. But and he was just walking around in a vest, and he looked like he would be greasy if you touched him. And it was just like, who the fuck is this guy? He's about fucking 40 years older than everybody else in the pub. And it's like, this is mental.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just love that place. Love the sound.
Yeah, it's just like pretty fucking loose vibes. And it's like, everyone's there to just have a nice time. So it's like, no one's fucking with anybody. And no one's like, everyone's just being silly.
And also, like, we came to the conclusion that, like, if you're not, like, part of, like, the subculture or whatever and don't really know actually any sort of like metalheads, you don't realize that like metalheads are just like the least like intimidating people in the fucking world. They're all like just nice like nerds, really, and I mean that in the most endearing like way. They're so like unintimidating, but like if you see them, you're there like, and you don't know anything about it, they're like, they're wearing like fucking trench coats and shit. They're like, they're not gonna kill you, man. Like they're probably gonna like want to talk about some fucking coding or something.
Yeah, you're playing.
yeah. And then, another thing, like fucking in Bristol, there's a venue called the Lanes, which is like a bowling alley on the sides. And like when you play, you get free like goes at bowling.
Yeah, but people are bowling like while you're playing.
It's
so
fun.
In between the songs, sometimes you can hear people like doing strikes and shit.
Tight.
But yeah, it's a cool venue. They've got like a hostel upstairs that like they let the band stay in when you play, and like it's just fucking cool. We played the gig, and I think this was in February last.
Yeah.
We played the show. It was great, and then we just started, having all the drinks, and we're like, oh, we can have a go at bowling now. And then we were just being silly, and you managed to fucking. There's a few clips on our Instagram, but like, you managed to fucking throw the ball.
I bowled a strike, turned around, and blew some vape out my mouth, and like I just felt like hard nails, man.
Yeah, but like he didn't know he had bowled a strike, and we were like, yo!
I thought everyone was fucking with me.
It was great. And then on my go, I threw the ball so hard that the barrier came down before the ball reached the end, and it hit it so hard it rolled all the way back to me. Oh. And so we just put them online, being like, this is fucking stupid. What a fun time we had. And then
my mate from Jersey, James, like he like texted me being there like, you guys are in a meme compilation. We're like, what the fuck? And like somebody basically ripped it and taken out our handle. It was the only one on this fucking meme compilation which didn't have the handle in. And like it was just a picture, it was just video of like
a video of me being shit at bowling. And it had like thousands of views. It was called like Exquisite British Memes number 23 or something. And it was just like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, it was just like, we didn't even know that had happened. And then it was just a random thing of being like, why are you in my meme compilation from a friend in Jersey? Like, I didn't even know I was that. But
yeah.
I'll send you the clips.
Okay. It's such a bummer that like that would have been great promo for the band, but then they took out.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like it's hard out here. Like.
It's like, we're not mad that you took it. Just like, give us credit. Come on.
We're fucking buzzing you took it.
No, yeah, those are all great times. I'm stoked to see those clips. But like you said, they're also on the Instagram, so everyone that's listening, go find them as well. I've had a great conversation with the two of you.
Likewise, mate.
Tonight for you. And I do like to end these episodes off on like a pretty good high note. So my last question for you before we end off is, from your time in Regal Cheer, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
I'd probably say one of them, right? It's actually not directly related to being in a... Well, it's related, but it's not directly as a result of being in a band. We basically, through like friends we've made from being like in this band, we worked at a festival called 2000 Trees and like got in, just did a couple of like merch shifts. And we just fucking made like so many mates, man.
Yeah.
Like just, and that sort of made me realize it's like, I don't know, or I think it made us realize it's like the fucking best, like the like community sort of surrounding like alternative sort of shit like this is like, it's fucking worth its weight in gold. And it's like, it's so fucking fun to like see similar people at like shows and just have like this bond over something. And if you can possibly be that, like with Neil, I don't know, the guy we mentioned in Scotland who comes to our shows, he comes to our shows like with his like daughters, and like they all just like seem to really like us, well, they enough to like come to the shows. And like two of them, like one of them lives in Brighton and one of them lives in Dundee. So like on that tour, I think, or maybe it was another one for the Brighton show, but like he saw us, and like his two daughters saw us at 3 different shows. And like, I think, I don't know, that's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah,
like, that's so like awesome.
We're like almost like a bonding experience for his family. It's like, that's really fucking nice. Like,
yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah. He's fucking lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely. Like he's into footy. He's fucking it sounds. But yeah, I'd probably say like that sort of thing, and just like just making friends that you're gonna like speak to outside of like being in a band kind of thing. Like all of our fucking friends we know, all the people we know really is through being in bands.
Yeah.
And just rock and roll's the fucking best, man. I love
it. I would probably say maybe like recording the album.
Yeah.
Like that was one of my favorite things, because like we don't get to record all that often because it's expensive as shit, and like but yeah, that was a real like, because we worked some of those songs we had for fucking ages. There's a few on that album that like we wrote when we wrote the first EP, but they ended up getting lost in the archive, and then we rediscovered them and we're like, oh, this is actually fucking good and done. Yeah. So it ended up on there.
Well, one of the songs just on that, like this, we've got a song on there called Tenor, and it's called Tenor because we forgot about it and then found it again. We're like, this song's fucking done, and we think it rips. And you said it was like finding a tenner in your pocket,
like an old coat pocket.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a tenner in here. Yeah, like recording the album was good because it was just like I don't know, it was like, these are done now. They've been sort of floating around in Google Drive and WhatsApp voice notes, and we've played them loads already and that kind of stuff. And it was like, we road tested and we're really, really happy with that. And I think that's like the proudest I've ever been in something that I've made or been a part of.
Yeah, totally.
And like, yeah, because we keep everything in house, like we said, and it's like, for me, it's like I did all the artwork and stuff, and like, I don't know, and sort of promotional material and that kind of shit. And I was just like, yeah, just really fucking proud of that thing that we did. Still am. Like, yeah, that's still my favorite thing we've done.
And as well, like fucking, I don't know, so the fact that people are willing to like put records out, it's like, that's like such a fucking financial hit. Like, you can't be like grateful enough for that.
Yeah, big time.
Like it's just
and when fucking people actually picking up copies of it, it's like, this is crazy. This is something that it's like, I'm doing this because we're doing this because we really like doing it, and it's like we're just creating something because we want to do it. But the fact that other people are fucking keen on it and like willing to put their money down and like get a big copy of the record or like fucking a t-shirt or anything like that shit, it's like, that means so much to me. Like fucking I can't really understand. It's like, I always downplay it when I talk to people. I don't really like talking, I don't know, I like talking shop to people who are in bands, but if they're not, I'm like, no, don't talk to me about it, because it's like, I don't want you to judge me and then ruin the thing that I like. So I'm just like, I'd just rather just like not talk about it at all unless you really know the crack,
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. That's just me being an idiot. But yeah, the fact that like, we recorded the album, was just like really fucking proud of it. I remember like sitting down after it and like listening to it together and being like fucking gassed.
High fives.
Like, so stoked on the thing that we just did. And like, I'm really fucking proud of this. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing album 2.
Yeah, totally.
Feeling the exact same way.
Yeah. Feeling accomplished.
Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah. Like, I mean, like I said, everything's so sick, and I'm stoked to see what you guys pull out in the future. And to kind of bounce off what you're saying, like Harry, like it is amazing that not only have you partnered with someone to put out like the records for the full length, but getting someone to help you out and still be like down enough to do a vinyl for the EP. And I think I saw like the full length one of the shops like was already like sold out of their copies. Like, like you're almost all done with like the first run. Like, it's amazing that everyone's picking it up. It's so nice that like that whole family is bonded over Regal Cheer enough to like go out on their own and see the shows when they're not all together still, and
Yeah.
like those are great fucking moments.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it feels pretty like when you, I don't know, actually sort of like thinking about that, and like, because obviously everyone's music fans, and like being on the other side of it sort of thing, it's just fucking, it's just absolutely lovely.
Yeah, because like you make we'll make some music and stuff, and we'll show it to some friends and that, and they'll say it's good. But it's also like you've got skin in the game to be nice to me. But when it's like complete strangers who live in a town that I've never been to, and they come to the gig and they're like, I fucking love it, I want to go pick up a copy, blah, blah, blah. I've shown all my mates, that kind of shit. It's like, you don't need to do that, and you're not doing that to make me feel good. You're doing that because you fucking like it, and it's like, that's sick. Like, I think that's the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Validating.
Yeah, big time. And it's just like, oh, maybe it isn't as shit as sometimes I think it is, because so I'll go through big waves, like, because like I said, we sat on the album for like 13 months or something.
I get texts from you just like daily being like, oh, the album's quite good today.
Yeah, I'd go through like 2-3 weeks, maybe every sort of month or so. I'd be like, this week the album's shit. I fucking hate it. It's rubbish. I'm so embarrassed. I don't want anyone to hear it. And then the next week I'm like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, mate. Like, fucking, why are we not playing Wembley Arena yet? And then the next week I'll be back to being like, this is crap. I'm so embarrassed. And yeah, so it's just kind of like, yeah, it helps get rid of that imposter syndrome when someone you don't know in like fucking Birmingham is like, I want another copy of that because I'm wearing through the first one. It's like, what? That's so cool, man. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah. If anyone else is wanting to, hop on the Regal Cheer bandwagon and either, follow you guys or get some merch, get a copy of one of these records, where can they find it?
So I think it's Regal Cheer on all social media. We use like Instagram and Twitter mostly. And you can find the records and the merch and stuff on Bandcamp. It's just Regal Cheer on there. The new EP's out February 9th, which I'm assuming it's going to be before this comes out, but there'll be copies of that on the Bandcamp as well. Just Regal Cheer on everything, really. And we're going on tour in February with a band called Mold from Bristol, who are really good. I can't remember where we're going, but it's all the UK stuff. Most of it's free, but you can find the poster and stuff on all the social medias and shit. But yeah, if you want to fucking jump on the bandwagon, that's where you go. Listen to Cans.
Yes. Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether it's, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, depending on how you call it, Threads, or you watch the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight, make sure you check the description down below, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials, stay up to date for new music, new tours, go get a copy of the new record and Cans, go listen to Cans, and if you're in Manchester area, be sure to go see them at Manchester Punk Fest at the end of March. And, one last big thank you to Harry and Max of Regal Cheer for taking the time out of your Sunday to sit down with me. I really appreciate it.
No,
thank you.
Yeah, you've eased this hangover quite a lot, if I'm honest. But, yeah, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, yeah, if we ever go out, if you ever go over here, like, yeah, please give us a shout.
Yeah, keep in touch, man.
Dude, of course. We'll you'll be high on my list if I make it to the UK. I'll have you show me all the good pubs and all the good spots to go check a show. We'll have a good time. But thank you to everyone for checking out this episode, and I'll catch everyone on the next one. See ya.
Bye.
Beers with Biz.